Hey everyone, it's Naomi, and welcome to the Firecracker Department Aftershow. This is where some of the core members, some of the community members of Firecracker Department come together, and we talk about past podcast episodes and what resonated with us and what got us inspired and jazzed. And today on the panel, we have AJ Edmonds, who's in Toronto, sometimes Los Angeles. She edits these beautiful after shows, and she's also in charge of content creation and brand kit creation and curly hair creation. Then we got Emily Churchill, who's in Los Angeles, and she is fantastic, first of all, and she's also in charge of the wellness department and produces this after show, and then produces jokes constantly that we all enjoy. Then we got Sarah Potter. Sarah Potter helps out with social media. She's in New York, and she's helping out with social media, but also with our funding department. And she's also in charge of the most curls of this episode. Beautiful. And guess what? She is a close second to AJ. Okay. So we're talking today about Jet Wilkinson. Jet's a buddy of mine, and as soon as I met her, I was like, oh, you're amazing. She's such an amazing human being. And then I find out that she's not only just like a director, but she's like a fierce director. You'll know her work from The Chai on Showtime. You'll know her from How to Get Away from Murder with Viola Davis. She's just one of those people. I can't wait, and I'm listen to me universe one day to be directed by her, because I think she's just such a dynamo and kind. She has the most adorable little baby and the most beautiful wife. She's just got it all. Tell me what resonated for you from my chat with Jet. Emily.
I loved how she said, embrace everything. You have no idea where it's going and you don't have control on it. And I was like, that's so true. That's how we should live every day. And I think it's hard for a lot of people, but I just love that. Embrace everything.
I mean, if you know Jet at all, she is a advocate of that phrase, because when I first met her, I think they just started dating, she and Britt, and then now, I mean, it's probably 2 months later. They have a baby and they got married. And I mean, it's not 2 months. I know how babies work. But she is embracing her world and her adventure so beautifully. AJ, what do you think?
I mean, I could tell by the way you were chatting that she was one of your neighbors, because you just have like the brightest community in Los Feliz. I loved when she was talking about like being given an identity and that like sort of shock of getting to Los Angeles and getting into this sort of Hollywood system of someone going, no, this is the box you belong in. And this is how, and I don't think any of us sit back and think about our identity until someone tells us we're something.
Yeah.
Or points at you and says, you are this. And then you're like, am I this? Maybe I'll be this. And it was amazing to hear it from her perspective, representing different diverse groups, being like, I got put into a box because, you know, I didn't fit the other ones. And then all of a sudden I was like, why can't this character have a white mom, even though she's a person of color? Like, well, there's a lot of scenarios like that. I'd never looked at labeling quite that way.
Yeah, has that happened to you, the labeling box putting?
Oh, God, yeah. I remember the weirdest label shift I ever had. I was the ingenue in everything from when I was 15 until I was 19. And then as soon as I graduated from college, the first 3 roles I got, I was Greed, I was the bitch, I was the blonde vampire that killed everybody. And I was like, what did I just shift in my energy? Because like 60 days ago, I was the like, la, 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 la. And now I'm the like,
I like the combo. I like the la, 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 la.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm blending labels.
I love it. Sarah Potter, what did you think about this chat?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I loved when she talked about her leadership style on the sets and how her main goal is to make everyone feel included. And I think that that's great. And I think that's something that you can take anywhere. You know, it's not just on a film production set. It's on a 9 to 5. I think it's really just making, knowing that you're working hard and getting everyone included and everyone feels like they're towards the end goal of something great. I think it was really nice to hear.
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, that's our jam at Firecracker Department. I think there's something about being the little sister that I'm always fighting to be included in things, but I know what it feels like to be invited to the table to sit down in the cafeteria. Like, we all just want to be included. That's why, like, whenever we do Firecracker events, if we see people on their phones, we're like, you come and be part of this conversation. And they're like, I'm on the phone. I don't care who you're talking to. Come and be part of this conversation. Just to include people. What else? What else, Emily? Hit a chord for you.
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
She mentioned her favorite movie was Legally Blonde. And a little tidbit, the Capitol scene was filmed in Springfield, Illinois, my hometown. Okay.
Okay.
But but no, I loved when she said that, because Legally Blonde is one of those movies that it's like a secret guilty pleasure, even though it's an amazing movie. But when she was like, no, I loved it, I was like, oh, me too, thank you.
I mean, knowing Jet, it was not going to be on my top 3 list for her. Like, she directs How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, AJ?
Like, what box does that fit in? I love it.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't. I mean, I love being surprised like that, right?
Well, what's your favorite movie?
I'm trying to be clever right now, but like I loved like Emily. I loved Annie Hall. Those kind of like sort of magical and real and love stories. I mean, that doesn't surprise you. Look at me. I'm wearing a dress that has a purse sewn into it. Like, come on.
Like, my favorite movie is Despicable Me, and then a close second is Seven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, people study people like me.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it.
so I appreciated when she was like, Legally Blonde, but I hired John Bernthal. Because, like, I don't know, like, John Bernthal, and I can also, like, I've met him. I met him because I was having a meeting with him, and he was waiting in the reception, and our lady running the desk didn't know who she was, so she thought he was just like a delivery dude. She asked him to carry a carpet up the stairs, and I remember coming out being like, I'm sorry, what is this? And he's like, no, it's no problem. I wasn't doing anything. I was like, thank you for being a nice person. You might be fired later, friend. Yeah.
I think her, when she was just talking about the good and bad of social media, and like trying to navigate that was interesting conversation, because just thinking about it, you know when to take that step back, or when do you know, like, when you're getting too deep into it, and and I don't know, a question for you guys, like, does social media affect your creativity process? Like, do you have to back away from it, or does it help it? I don't know.
I mean, you're in social media. You help Firecracker Department with social media, and that's what you do as a work. How do you balance it with your own life? Because at the end of a social media workday, you're like, so long.
Yeah, right. It's hard. It's I think that's why I loved listening to her talk about it, because sometimes it is hard to just unplug. Sometimes it feels heavy, sometimes it feels light, and you can, almost like you can have those, lighter conversations. And but yeah, sometimes I do. You just need to absolutely step away for your own good.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
It's also about figuring out how to navigate it, right? And what the purpose of it. It's like, for me at the beginning, it was like following everybody, kind of like Facebook, right? Like, you just almost troll people by like, you're just like, I found you. Follow. And like, now for me, guys, quarantine's getting dangerous. But now for me, it's such an incredible tool of knowledge in terms of knowing about like what are people fighting for, where are we putting our energies, and like starting to curate. Like I've made the distinct purpose. I only follow things that are either going to educate me or make me laugh. Like, I don't want anything that's going to make me feel bad, because it is so easy to go, well, I mean, this person's having a baby and they're 2 years younger than me. So I've tried really hard to like she was saying, like finding the purpose of it and being true to what you need out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Any final thoughts about my chat with Jet, Emily?
I loved that she said, I have the best job in the world and I'm so lucky. Because that just makes my heart swell, because I can't wait to feel that, right? Of like, and I am lucky. I think we're all lucky in our own ways, but for her to say that and where she's come from and what she's doing now is just so refreshing.
Yeah, and she works so hard. Like, this COVID break that she's had is so unknown to her, but she's able to hang out with her son and her wife, and so she's seeing the benefits of it, but she loves her job, and she knows, and she's grateful for it. It's quite beautiful. Sarah, any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I did. I really enjoyed listening to her, and I'm excited to see what else she does because I really liked her final message of what do you want to leave when you're gone. So that was nice to hear.
Gonna leave a whole lot of after shows. That's what my goal is. AJ, any final thoughts?
Yeah.
No, I think she's amazing, and she just listening to her put a smile on my face, and I love that there are so many of us working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, that was a great segue. Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome.
Oh, that was
Speaking
great.
of working, what are you working on these days, Emily Churchill?
Well, we got the wellness department. I'm starting to do the meditations on August 2nd. So that's the first Sunday of each month. We'll be doing another meditation, a little astrology, whatever comes up.
I love it. People love your meditation so much. Like I can't tell you how many brunches we've done or writing workshops where people like say, "Have you checked out Emily's meditations?" So they're
Oh,
lovely.
yay.
Yay. Sarah Potter, what do you have coming up?
For Firecracker Department, I know I've been chatting a lot about the work in progress, so I'm excited to see that tonight, and
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited too. If you haven't, I mean, this show will probably be after our work in progress panel, but we'll be able
Oh,
to
yep.
share that on our podcast. So make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. AJ, what about you? What do you have coming up?
What do I have coming up? I've just moved, so I'm building benches.
Yes.
So I'm just DIYing because I got a lot of empty space to fill. And then from Firecracker perspective, we're doing Real Women and Spotlight. So working with a lot of women whose films are being featured on Real Women, and then we're interviewing them, which is really exciting. And also just trying to keep that creativity flowing.
Keep it going, buds.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Yeah. We have a little hiatus right now, but then we'll launch back into Naomi Gets Schooled that I'm excited about, where I have little firecrackers, which we're calling sparklers, and they're teaching me things because I have a lot to learn. I didn't know how to make slime, and now I do, kind of. So go to firecrackerdepartment.com to check out Naomi Gets Schooled and all these projects. But all these everythings, we have so much going on, and it's all at firecrackerdepartment.com. On our social medias, Firecracker DEPT. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter and our podcast and get involved. We have a community that is for so many of you. And as we say, there's always room for another chair at the Firecracker table. So pull up a chair. Might be a stool, might be a box turned upside down, might be a cooler, but you're always welcome at the table. Thanks, everybody. Go check out Jet Wilkinson and what she's creating. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.